Alright, wow, it's been a while since I've used my face cam. I'm looking a little bit scruffy there, but yeah, I'm just lazy, so I don't use it that often. But if you clicked on this video, I'm sure you really love Nintendo music or just video game music in general. So before we start, let me know in the comments below, what's your favorite game soundtrack of all time? And if you can't think of one, maybe just what soundtrack have you been listening to a lot lately? For me, I'd say it's been Spyro Reignited Trilogy, because that game is coming out next week on Nintendo Switch, and I'm so excited. I've been anticipating this game for so long with all the rumors and everything that has happened over the past year. So I'm really excited for that game, but let me know, what's your favorite game soundtrack? So if you didn't know, Nintendo has been getting pretty feisty lately when it comes to their music on YouTube, and they've basically been going through and closing some of these bigger YouTube channels that focus primarily on posting their music. So I wanted to talk about this because it really worries me. Nintendo music is very much a big part of my life, and it always has been. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I put on my Zelda lo-fi cover playlist. Even my alarm is Midday Gardens from Spyro Reignited Trilogy. And then I start driving in my car on my way to my job, and I switch over to upbeat Mario Kart music to save me from having road rage, or rather give me road rage. Not really sure. Then I throw my headphones on and listen to my Pokemon and chill playlist all day at work so I can relax and avoid all the stresses of the day. And then I get home later and I start to dance to my Cadence of Hyrule soundtrack. Or maybe I switch to the vibrant and cheery Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze music as I literally prance around my house dancing to Grassland Groove. And yeah, I have done that. Then my day ends with some tranquil Twilight Princess tracks as I fall asleep on the couch. Basically, my point here is Nintendo music is very much ingrained in my everyday life. And so when I log into my YouTube account to play a certain playlist that I have saved, and I see that it's been deleted, I start to get really upset. And don't get me wrong, it's not so much that I'm upset at Nintendo, it's more because those playlists are now gone and I have no other way to listen to these tracks, because if they're not on YouTube, that's it. They don't exist anywhere else, and I have no way to find it. Sure, I can still listen to my Spyro tracks, or maybe my Celeste B-side remixes, or that amazing atmospheric Hollow Knight score, but Nintendo music has always been the majority of what I listen to. Their library is so deep, and it's been around for 30 plus years, and some of the same composers are still writing for the same series, like the legendary Koji Kondo, who wrote most of the music for Mario and Zelda, and even Grant Kirkhope, who is famous for his quirky and playful Banjo-Kazooie tunes. Nintendo music has always been that good, which is why I have such a love for it, and I've been listening to it ever since I was a kid. Music in video games always stands out to me right away, and it immensely affects my entire experience playing that game. If I don't enjoy the music, I have a really hard time finishing the game. So if you haven't already heard, like I mentioned earlier, Nintendo has been really cracking down on the larger and more popular YouTube music channels that focus primarily on Nintendo music. So Gilva Sana and Brawl Bryce Miss X. So I don't know how to pronounce that exactly, but I'll just call him Brawl. But those are the two channels that they have recently basically forced to close because they are blocking all their content. And I'm not here to argue about anything or say bad things about Nintendo or those channels or who was right, who was wrong. This is more just a discussion about Nintendo and their music, and a love letter really to Nintendo to let them know that we want this music, we want to listen to it, and I just would really hate for Nintendo to go through this and then we just end up never being able to listen to those tracks again. So this is what I want to say to Nintendo. Dear Nintendo, your music has been a huge inspiration to me throughout my whole life. It's made me truly immerse myself in your games. It's made me pursue my dream of creating videos on YouTube, and it's even made me learn how to play guitar and piano so I could play and cover these amazing tunes to feel those feelings again. I listen to your music day and night, and I don't know where I'd be in my life without it. It's gotten me through the tough times and has always been there for the good ones as well. I remember booting my games up and sitting on title screens just to listen to your tracks for a few moments before playing. Luckily, I don't have to do that anymore and can just log into YouTube and click on my favorite saved playlists. I'll always be grateful of your music, and it has very much shaped who I am today. Please find a way to preserve this fantastic content, not just for your fans, but for these amazing artists who have put their souls into their work. These works of art should be preserved for future generations. Please know that this Nintendo VGM community only exists because of you. We aren't here to take advantage of you. We are here to share the love. As the great Reggie Fils-aime said,
Nintendo, at its heart, is about making us feel younger than we are today.
well, your music puts me in the mindset of my younger self. It makes me relive my first playthrough of Ocarina of Time and lifting that Master Sword from the pedestal. We all know that tune by heart. Or maybe it reminds me of those times as a child where I was carelessly swimming through Jolly Roger Bay, or fighting that Elite Four champion and defeating him despite me thinking I could never do it. Your music allows me to relive these moments time and time again. Reggie couldn't have said it any better. It makes me feel younger than I am today. P.S. I also want to throw out an easy idea here. Nintendo, put your music on your own service, something similar to Spotify, and let us pay for it. Release all your tracks on here digitally. That makes everyone happy. You get paid and we get to keep listening. Thank you. I also want to say that it's also very weird that Nintendo is acting this way, because a lot of you might not know this, but up until basically the beginning of this year, Nintendo was so strict on just their regular content on YouTube in general. So for example, like gameplay. So before, it was very much how Game Freak and the Pokemon Company are when it comes to YouTube and gameplay, where you could only really show like 10 or 15 seconds and then it would get claimed and the video would get not blocked. I mean, I guess it could get blocked, but a lot of times what would happen is they would just claim the video and you couldn't monetize it, or they would take all of the ad revenue. That's what Nintendo was doing up until this year. So they went lax on that part of their business. So it's really weird that they're not attacking gameplay anymore, but they're attacking the music channels, which I can understand that to some extent, because the music channels are just basically uploading the music and they're not really changing it. So I get that, but it's just something that's really weird to me as well. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And if you don't know, I'm a Nintendo channel mostly. I post content for Nintendo Switch every week. Please subscribe if you liked this video. Please like it if you liked it, disliked it if you didn't, and I'll see you guys in the next video.